Hello, and welcome back to Jolly Roger Hobbies. Today, we're going to be building our Spitfire. So, in our last video, we unboxed it. So now, we're going to be putting it together. And I have all the pieces that I need. The main thing you're going to want to do is follow the instructions. And the first part of the instructions tell us to put our horizontal stabilizer together. So it says, slide horizontal tail A into the slot of the rear fuselage. Ensure the control horn faces down. So we take our horizontal stabs, and this is the control horn they're talking about, so make sure that faces down. And of course you got the other side. And let's not forget our pole. So I'm just going to insert the pole right into there. Goes in a good ways. And then we'll just insert it right into its little slot. And the one key thing you need to do is make sure that your little box here fits into the slot on the other side. That side slid in better. And just press them together. Now next it tells us to put it with the available hardware, with the included screw B, which we have a hardware here, and I have a magnetic tool thing, so just so we don't lose anything, I'm going to put everything right in there. So our two small screws that came out, now one thing to note, never over tighten your screws. Just go down to where they're snug, and that's it. And then leave it alone. You keep turning, all you're going to do is strip it out. And that's the last thing you want to do. And these turn till they're just about recessed. Alright. Next it tells us to attach the clevis to the elevator control horn. So flip it over so you can see it. And this is what they're talking about right here. And it tells us to put it on the very bottom hole, which in our case right here is going to be the top hole. Now if you have to adjust this to make sure they're level, what you need to do is twist it. And looks like we're going to have to twist it just a little bit. A little bit more. There. Now, just going to check the alignment real quick. And if you can see right there, we're nice and even. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is pinch this completely on and slide the rubber piece over the top, so that way it doesn't come off. There we go. So now that's connected. We go to the next page. Tells us to remove the battery hatch, and second is to guide the flaps, retracts, and aileron servo connectors A through hole B located in the bottom of the fuselage. So remove our battery hatch. And then here's all of our cables. And we're going to put everything except for the bind cable through the bottom. And then it says, use hemostat or pliers to pull the servo connectors into the fuselage if needed. Didn't exactly need it here. Connect the flaps, retracts, and aileron connectors to respective Y harness connected to the receiver. The left and right servos can be connected to either side of the Y harness. Now, all the Y harness does is split the power. The reason why the controls are opposite for ailerons and the flaps are not opposite, they're even. But the ailerons, the servo itself is just flipped reverse to get it. So the one control direction will go that way, while the same input on this side will send it the opposite way. It's just because the servo itself is flipped. So our next job, of course, is to pull this tape off and pull out our wires. Now, if you'll notice, every single one of these wires is labeled. So this one says gear, so it'll go in the gear port. And this is kind of where it gets tricky. Simply because we don't have a lot of room. And I can't do this bent over in front of the camera and keep that in view so the camera can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off there and connect the wires. And then all I'm going to do is then we're going to install our wing section. Just like this. And we're going to connect the wires and then we're going to feed them back through the hole. And then I'm going to put the wing on. And then we'll start again. Alright, now we have our wires connected and our wing section put on. Now we need to secure the wing section. It says align the wing with the fuselage and secure in a position using included 4 screws, which are 2mm hex screws. And it's 4 screws, one here, 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 and here. And same thing as the others. Go down to the recessed and flushed. Do not over tighten. Now that that's done, and well, one thing I do want to point out with this, I like how it takes 4 screws and then one each of the horizontal stabilizers. If you're familiar with my P-51 Mustang, which was formerly the Dallas Doll, it's now the Jolly Roger. Watch my build series on that if you haven't seen it already. It's an interesting little view. Anyways, the Mustang only has 2 screws up top. That's it. The back is held in by 2 pegs. I like this a lot better. It's a lot more secure. The horizontal stabs on the Mustang are held in by tape. That's it. This has a screw each. Again, I like that a lot. So it tells us our clevis installation here. It says next for our flaps and our ailerons, but they're already attached. And it just says control surface centering, which I showed you how to do the centering on the elevator. And right now it seems everything's centered. And before we fly, of course, we'll check the centering and check everything first. So next it says to do the propeller installation. So we'll go ahead and flip it over. You notice all of our wires are now poking out up here, so we're just going to go ahead and tuck them back under for now. And I think what I'm going to do is take a wire tie and kind of tie them together and make it a lot neater. But we'll do that in the future. Right now, let's do our motor and propeller installation. Now the first part of the instruction says to install the spinner backplate A and propeller B on the propeller shaft C. Don't you love those stereo instructions? Put the A, B on the C. Luckily, we know the difference between our shaft, propeller, and backing plate, so forget the letters. Install the backing plate onto your shaft. Next, install your spinner. Now it'll tell you the numbers. You can see them right there. It says 10 by 8 has to be on the outside. But here's another tip. Do you see any paint on that side? No, you see on this side. Obviously this goes forward. Then it says to install our spinner nut D. There's our little things again. And this screws on like that. And then take a screwdriver, stick it right through that hole, and then you're just going to do it just enough pressure. Not too tight. You might want to get it off later. Next, our spinner and our spinner nut. So, of course, insert the nut. And again, only tighten until it's snug. Isn't that neat? Alright, now the fun part begins. Our wing cannon installation. We're just going to take a flat-headed screwdriver, and these panels right here have to come out. And we're going to have to cut them out. I've heard that this is the hardest part of the entire thing. And folks, that's why. See the yellow bit? It's got a tacky glue right there, so just going to take our X-Acto knife and clean some of this off. We need a clean surface if we're going to glue these down. And this does not give us a clean surface. That's better. Now we'll take our cannon. But you know, it's kind of hollow in there, but I don't know. I might do something with that later. So that just fits in there like that. And then this fits over the top of it, but it needs to be glued down. So I'm going to take foam safe CA glue. But here's the thing, with Z-foam, you technically can use a regular CA. I did this on my P-51 Mustang when I installed the wing guards on the side. I accidentally used regular CA glue on 2 of them, and then I remembered it, panicked, used the foam safe on the 3rd one, and turned out nothing happened. I later researched it, found out you can use regular CA glue on the Z-foam, but, well, I'm an old hat, and it still scares me. Why damage it if I don't have to? So, I'm just going to use regular Super Gold 100% foam safe medium odorless CA glue. And, of course, this is from Hobbytown. Gotta love Hobbytown. So what I'm going to do is just put it right on the inside here. And some right in there. Right in there. Press it down for about 10 seconds. Then we have to glue this back on. So I can put the glue on here, but if I do that, then when I'm trying to put it down, I'm going to get it all over my fingers. So the smart thing to do is run your glue bead in here, and then you want it right on the inside. And just like that, hold that for 10 to 15 seconds. Now, I was an idiot and got a little bit too much out there, so before that cures, you just take part of that bag and wipe that off. Now let's do the same to the other side. And now that we did one side, we know where the glue is that we have to take off. So it'll make this job a lot easier. That was definitely a lot easier. Always have the your big cannon to the inside. Next is our transmitter binding. So before the start of the video, the first thing I did is I took my Spectrum DX9 and I programmed it to what the manual says. Now, I might change things a little bit later, but go back to page 2 and it gives you your transmitter setup directions right here for the DX6i, DX7S, DX8, and then down here is DX6, DX7, DX9, DX10T, and DX18. So, of course, mine's the DX9, so I'm going to go ahead and read them real quick to you. Step 1, go to the system setup. 2, set up model type to airplane. Set 3, aircraft type is on the wing, 1 aileron, 1 flap. Go to the functions list, then set servo setup, reverse gear. Flap system, select switch D, which you can select whatever switch you want. I like my flaps up here, which is switch G. And then it tells you, and here's the thing, always follow the directions to what it tells you first. Then after you fly it, then you can change it if you want something different. But always first set it up to the directions. So the directions say select switch D, which of course I didn't do that, but you know what, it doesn't matter on the switch. Position 0, negative 100% flap. Position 1, 0% flap. Position 2, 60% flap. And set your speed at 2.0. Now I'll be honest, I don't like that. So you either have all flaps or no flaps. No takeoff flaps or anything else. So I'll fly it to what it's supposed to be, and then I think what I'll end up doing is changing position 1 to like a 30% flap, and then have my position 2 at 60%. So always set your model up first before you do the bind. That is #1 key. Okay, so your transmitter and receiver binder. The binding procedure with switching on safe select, and there's a different procedure for switching off safe select. Safe select is for beginners. When you fly, the ailerons elevator will only have little controls, and if you release the switch, it'll go back to level attitude. Well, I don't need safe select, so I'm not going to use it. I will be binding in regular. So it tells you to make sure your transmitter is powered off. DX9, you don't have to have it powered off. You can actually go into your system settings and go to bind. But let's just do it the way the directions state. So make sure that it is powered off, which that it is. Move the transmitter controls to neutral or low position. So your aileron, oh, that's low. Make sure your throttle's in a low position. All your switches set to their up position. Install bind plug in the receiver bind port, which it already comes with the bind plug in the bind port. So that'll be fine. Next it says place the aircraft level on its wheels. Well, spoiler alert, when it comes out of the box, the wheels are up. You can't do that. So we're going to end up binding it, turning off, and then we're going to rebind it. So place the aircraft on level on its wheels, connect the flight battery to the ESC, turn the switch, then turn the switch on, which, and I understand that because it doesn't have a switch. When you plug it in, it's on. The ESC will produce a series of sounds, one long tone, 3 shorts, to confirm that the LVC is set correctly for the ESC. That's the low voltage cutoff. The orange bind LED on the receiver will begin to flash rapidly. Do not remove the bind plug at this time. Which, yeah, the receiver is clear down there, so we're not going to see it. But we'll know. Take 3 steps away from the aircraft receiver and then power on the transmitter while holding the transmitter bind button, which you can do this. Here's the bind button. And you make sure you're a good 3 feet away when you do this, otherwise it may not bind. So we got our flight battery right here. And all I'm going to do is just set it in. That's all I'm going to do. And we have our bind in. And there's our tones. Now what's funny is I can actually see the receiver orange light flashing down in there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hold our bind button and turn on our transmitter. Now remember, I had the model already programmed in and selected for this. Make sure you do that first. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and it'll tell us, the transmitter will tell us that it's binding.
Binding. DSMX 22 milliseconds. Telemetry. Bind complete.
Alright, that's it. And now the ESC is armed. We should have full controls.
Takeoff flaps. Flaps up. Takeoff flaps. Landing flaps.
I don't know why it's giving us
flaps.
takeoff flaps.
Flaps up.
Should be set to nothing,
Landing
so I'm going to have
flaps.
to check that.
Flaps up.
Now let's put our gear down.
Gear down.
So now that we've done that, it says the receiver is bound to the transmitter when the orange light on the receiver stays orange. The ESC will also produce a series of 3 ascending tones. The tones indicate the ESC is armed.
Motor off.
Provide the throttle stick and trim are in the low proper arm positions, which we have done. Remove the bind plug from the bind port. Now we've removed the bind plug. Now, we have our full power.
Motor off.
And I always program a cutoff, a throttle cutoff right here. And then I put this piece of tubing over my switch so I know which one I can find in a hurry is the throttle cutoff. Do this for safety. Whenever you go to start up a plane, always make sure your throttle cutoff is on. Do not turn it off until you're ready to fly, or the model is restrained, hands are clear of the prop. That way, if you accidentally bump the throttle, nothing happens. If you accidentally bump the throttle
motor on
without that throttle cutoff, you start the prop, your hands or somebody else is anywhere near that, you're going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else.
Motor off.
Make sure you always have that set. So we're going to go ahead and unplug the thing. And there's our ship. It's all put together. The next thing to do is to find the CG. That and go through, check your control horns, make sure they're set the way the directions say they are. So I'll do that. Now, to find the CG, put your flight battery in to where it's going to be, and then you're going to turn the model upside down. And I don't know if you can quite tell, see these panel lines right here? This is where you're going to hold it. You're going to place your fingers right here and balance it. If you notice, right now it's tail heavy. That's because the battery is not in. And once you put the battery in, you might have to move the battery forward or back to get it to balance on the tips of your fingers. Right where you place your fingers there. Alright. So I just looked inside my flap system. I just wanted to let you know that where when we put the flaps down and it went to take off flaps and the flaps actually moved, that's because it was set to 0%. So it actually moved it into a takeoff position. So I'll probably be leaving it that way. And then full flaps at 60%, which was a little strange. But that's how that works. Hope you liked my video. I'll have a lot more stuff coming up, including the maiden flight. So please subscribe so that way you have instant access to it. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down below. And as always, thanks for watching.